Alright, I know it's been a while since I've done one of these videos, but just kind of want to give you an update of what's been going on with me. Just doing a lot of testing. So I love my A7S III. It's an amazing camera, but I don't know why I'm such a fan of like that LUMIX look, the GH5, that I ended up buying one. I got this for $700 on Craigslist or Facebook Market, and I got the lens for $80. And the reason why I got it is because I am so crazy when it comes to like that film look. I can't stop thinking about how I can get this film look, and I keep trying harder and harder with the A7S III, which I think I've done really good with it. And I don't know if it has something to do with like the codecs. Like in the GH5, it shoots in this DCI format, and like everything that I see that people do with short films with the GH5, like they're really good short films, they look so good. And I think that it has to do with the DCI format, and I'm not sure why Sony hasn't incorporated that into the A7 series cameras. I know that like out of all the stuff that I've reviewed when it comes to the A7 cameras, some of my favorite stuff has been the A7 II. So even better, I think, than what the A7S III performs, right? It just looks more film-like. Not that I'm not happy with the A7S III, because it does incredible video. The autofocus is amazing. It just looks great altogether. But I don't know what it is, but I just feel like I struggle to try to get that film look with it, opposed to like this GH5, where I've done some cinematic shots with it that I've shot in vlog, and it just seems like it looks more film-like right out the gate. Like I don't have to try too hard. Plus, Panasonic released, Lumix, there's a bunch of LUTs that they released on their site that I found, and they're incredible. They're my favorite LUTs that I've ever used beyond everything. They're just amazing. And I've been using those a lot, almost just not using anything else. They just look so good. They look so cinematic. Even doing on my A7S III, using it. There's one called Aggressive that looks awesome. They have like high con, low con, 33, fashion one. I mean, just all these ones that just, they look so good coming out of it, whether you're doing S-Log3 with the Sony A7S III, or even with the GH5, just shooting in vlog, right? Now, this camera I'm still learning, because I'm not really sure how much I'm supposed to shoot. Like, am I supposed to shoot overexposed, underexposed? It seems like a lot of the times when I'm shooting stuff underexposed, it just looks better. And the low light is nowhere near as good as the A7S III or even the A7 III on this, but it still looks really good. Like it I could push it to probably 5,000, and there is some noise, but it almost looks like film grain. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's why I got this, to be more artistic. When I had my G85, I was able to do this music video and this commercial for Homestead Kitchens, and I'm just really happy with how those came out. Not that I couldn't do as good with the Sony A7S III, or if not better, because those are like more commercial. For the music video, I think I would have preferred more of this LUMIX look, because it gives it that vintage film look, which I'm just always going back to that. And I don't know. I want to get better with this camera, but I also don't want to invest a bunch of money into it, and And like I tried out the 10 to 25 lens, which was pretty amazing, but it was pretty expensive too. It was like $1,800 lens. So and for me, I just have a hard time paying that much for a lens. It's just, I can't do it. I have to, so I returned it, you know, and the whole idea that this is a $780 camera, has amazing IBIS in it. The autofocus is actually not that bad on this. It is a lot better than what I had on my G85. It's nowhere near the Sony level or Canon, but it's not bad. I mean, if I just go into their, I think it's 425 points. I believe it's that, or maybe in the 200s, but it's still able, like if I focus, it'll focus on my kids. Like you could see some sample footage that I've done where it'll do it, but like if I'm trying to follow somebody and go in and out, it won't like stay focused on the person. It will fall out of focus, but then go back into focus. So, but that's the same with even the A7S III. It's rare that I can actually go up to somebody at like a pretty decent speed and get it where it stays in focus the whole time. It's not, it's difficult. Even with using like face tracking on the A7S III, I'm not always able to do that. You know, a lot of people talk about how amazing the A7S III is at autofocus, which it is the best camera I've had when it comes to that, but it still cannot do that. And I've seen people do it on their videos, and maybe they're showing the one clip that it worked, and all the other ones they're not showing. But I've just had times where it just doesn't lock on. Like I could have my kid run up to me as fast as they can, and they'll still be blurry for a second or a couple seconds, right? It's just, I just don't think we're there yet. Maybe Canon's a different story. I've not explored enough with their cameras. I'm excited about Nikon because they released that Z9, and I know Jared Polin did a pretty amazing review on them, and just talking about how much better their autofocus is, and I don't know what it is. I'm excited to see what Nikon is going to come out with in the next year or so, because if they do like another Z6 or Z7, like maybe the Mach 3 edition of those, because they're up to the Z7, Z6 2, right? And they implement the Z9's autofocus system into it, I have a feeling that those cameras are going to just blow up. And the reason why I'm saying it is if you looked at what people have done online with short films with those, it looks incredible out the gate. It just looks beautiful. And on top of it, I think that Nikon is, I think they're the king of photography, in my opinion. Like what I've seen, what people shot with them is beautiful. I would say Canon second, and then Sony third. And that has to do with skin tones. You know, that's an important thing. And I think the color science on Nikon and Canon is much better than Sony. I think that LUMIX has some pretty amazing skin tones too, especially for video. I'm surprised. I mean, when I shoot in Vivid with this, it looks so good. It reminds me of the X-T4 shooting in some of their profiles, that just great color profiles. I think LUMIX has it down. I mean, their stuff just looks cinematic. It looks film. And that's why I keep going back to them. But to get this camera for $780, no brainer. You know, it came with 4 or 5 batteries, and it's really kind of my artistic camera, I would say. And I kind of look at my Sony cameras, the A7S III and the A7 III, more as like my commercial cameras that I shoot with on location, whether I'm doing doing these fire films for one of my client, or anything that seems commercial. I would trust my Sony cameras over it because of the autofocus and not having to use manual focus. I don't think that I can trust a GH5 for it. These would be more if I was going to shoot music artists and I can do manual focus and I have more time. I can do like redos. Like I see some people shooting full weddings with these cameras or even Blackmagics, and I'm like, how the hell do you shoot a full wedding in manual focus? I mean, that's insane. And that's why I love the A7S III so much, because I feel like 2 of these, if I had at a wedding, I can just get every shot. Just have somebody else on it. I was looking, I'm pretty fascinated with that new Ronin 4D. That's insane, that camera, what it can do. It's like you can eliminate like a whole crew with that. And I would love to have that camera, but it is $7,000 or even more for their 8K version. You know, and it's, from what I've heard, it's pretty heavy. And, you know, I'm all about light. Like, this is light, right? It's a light camera. The Sony A7S III is a light camera. As you know, a few months back, I had posted that I got a new camera, getting the Blackmagic 6K. And honestly, like, I loved like the images from it. As you could see, I did some shots here. As I'm explaining this, I'll let you know like what my thoughts were on that camera. Beautiful images. I mean, don't get me wrong, amazing film-like, but there's just things that I didn't like about it. Like if you were shooting in that ProRes, I mean, you literally, like the minutes that you got, it just ate up so much. I mean, you'd run out of room so fast on an SD card. And you would have to shoot on a 1 terabyte drive. You'd have to build it out with a cage, which I got a cage and all this stuff, focus wheel, and just by the time I was done with it and I'm trying to film, it literally hurt my back. It was just too heavy. So that's kind of why I love this, because it's so light and I can get in there when I film my kids, and I just don't, these cameras, I don't feel that way, and I feel like I get away with more. What I love about the GH5 over this A7S III is that the IBIS is crazy good on this. I mean, I could walk, it feels like a gimbal, you know, opposed to the A7S III, even though I would have active stave on, you know, if I'm shooting in 24 frames per second, I still feel like it's just not as good as the GH5 or some of the other cameras. I mean, I heard that the R5 Canon is amazing when it comes to stabilization as well. I haven't tried it. If that damn thing didn't overheat, I would have bought that over an A7S III. But it overheats, and I just can't. I can't show up to a client's event or whatever and have it overheat and be like, well, it's all I can do. You know, I mean, that just would be embarrassing. And, you know, I'm not going to, I know that you can shoot with those cameras in the regular 4K, and from what I've seen, it doesn't look as good as even the A7S III. You have to shoot in that Ultra HD 4K or whatever, Ultra 4K, as well as the 8K, and then you got problems with overheating, or even if you shoot in 60 frames per second. So that's what I love about the A7S III. I've only had it one time overheat, and it was just giving me warnings, and that was it. And it went away. Like it was not a problem at all. I was very surprised to see it. Now, like I said, the other thing on the A7S III that is kind of a bummer is that if you're shooting at 120 frames per second, I believe maybe 60 frames, I haven't checked, but 120 frames per second, you can't, it takes away the active stave. So you're going to get the shakes and all that. Now, I did see something that the Catalyst browse software actually now works even if you shoot in active stave or just regular steady shot, that you can use it. But it did, like, I've seen stuff where people have done that and the software actually, there's just like warping and stuff that I've seen. Like if you're doing at night or something, you're gonna have issues with the lights and all that. So I just rely on the active stave, and 120 frames per second is really nice, and to be able to have that customized so I can switch to it is great, but I love shooting on these cameras, but all of them, I can't decide which one I like more. They're kind of my toys. It's like I get paid doing this, as well as that I get to do it for fun, and I love doing short films with it. I do have a short film coming up that I'm going to do with some friends. So it'll be like the first one that I'm not in, and I'll be behind the camera the whole time. And I'm currently writing the script for it. I pretty much have it all done in my head. And I'm going to have some good actors in it. One of my friends that's in films right now, his name's Brett Baker. He's been in some pretty serious films. He's going to come help me with it, as well as a friend of mine, Alex, and my wife's cousin, Juan. And then I got a couple other people that I need to get involved with it. But it's going to be exciting. I'm definitely going to shoot it on the A7S III because it's going to be kind of low light night. Don't know if I'm going to do golden hour with it or just have it at night. So I would love to shoot it on the GH5, but I'm just not sure. Maybe I'll try both ways and see which looks better. But yeah, so I wanted to make this video just to kind of give you a comparison. I know a lot of people that are doing comparison videos on the A7S III versus the GH5 are showing you all the technical and all that, and that's really not this kind of video. This is just to give you my experience on shooting on both of them, and more of not your just kind of everyday shooting, but to kind of shoot these and make them like film. As you can see, a lot of the videos that I post on my channel are more about trying to get that film cinematic Hollywood look, and that's what I'm after. I love that look. And I recently switched even software. I got sick and tired of Final Cut. I'm tired of the rendering, and it just, even on my MacBook Pro M1, it still renders in the beginning, and I have to deal with the files. And I'm sure you guys understand this, that work in Final Cut, that you got to go into the projects and show all content and go find the render files and delete them because they fill up on your hard drive. It's just a pain in the ass. I'm just done with it. Apple sucks when it comes to Final Cut. They need to clean that shit up. It sucks. So I switched to DaVinci Resolve. I've tried the free version, and I like it so much that I actually ended up buying the software, and it really is pretty amazing what you can do with it. I honestly think that when I use LUTS in that and I do the color grading, looks so much better than what it looks like in Final Cut. I don't know if it's the codecs or what's going on in the background, but pretty awesome software. So I recommend, if you are using Final Cut or Premiere, try DaVinci Resolve. It's free, first off, the free version. It limits you to some stuff, and you can get around with it. You are limited to nodes, how many you get, but it just looks great. Learn the software. It does this thing called media pool, which is pretty awesome, where you just tell where the media is and it pulls from there. There's no importing it into the project like Final Cut Pro. And in Premiere, I've tried Premiere, and I don't like the way that it works. It seems like, I just don't like the overall experience of it, of like having to zoom in on stuff and zoom out, and it's just not my workflow. And I really, really love DaVinci Resolve. So download it. You guys will love it. But that's enough out of me. This video's gone way too long already, but it's been a while since I've done one, so I needed to get stuff off my chest, if you know what I mean. But you know, I'm trying to grow with subscribers, so if you like this content that I'm giving you, if you like me talking to the camera, it seems like some of my other videos, like the A7 III versus the XT4, those have a lot of views. Seems like people like that stuff, so I'll try to do more of that, just like this. Just talk to you guys. It's easier, you know, less editing, and but yeah, you know, subscribe, like, comment, let me know what you think of all of this, and that's it for me. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.